Welcome to another episode of Neat Network and Cool Capacity, featuring your hosts, Rick Taylor from the SCTE Central Indiana chapter and Eric Fallows of the SCTE Great Lakes chapter.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today's Friday, September 20th. Welcome to the 13th episode of Neat Network and Cool Capacity. You talk about an unlucky number. Well, we are very lucky today, Rick and I. So first things first, Rick, how was your golf outing?
The golf outing was great. Big success there. Good outing, good course. Had a lot of fun yesterday. That being said, my voice is a little scratchier than it normally is. Maybe too much yelling on the course. But no, it was a beautiful weather, beautiful day. I can't thank the vendors for their support, but all in, it was a great event. Thanks for asking, Eric.
Yeah, anytime. So we've got a training on sequel to Introduction to SQL course on September 30th, but we've got a big event going on next week, right? Can we take a guess what that is? What is that, Rick?
So you guys know you already did your golf outing. No, Expo. You going to Expo, Eric?
I'm going to Expo this year, 2024 Expo in Atlanta. It should be a good time, right?
They always are, this is going to be the first one for me in Atlanta, I believe. I'll check that. It's the second one in Atlanta for me. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to reconnecting with a lot of the folks you see on the computer. You may join meetings with, things like that. The vendors, it brings out all the vendors. I believe if I'm correct, I think there's a training Monday. It's a fiber training Monday, and then Tuesday the floor opens. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, speaking of trainings and all of that, let's go ahead and bring up our special guest today. Folks, I would like to introduce Elad Nafshi. He's been with Comcast for, I believe, over 19 years. Welcome to the show today, Elad.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes. As soon as you start to get to 20 years, man, it feels old. But you know what? It's just, just gone by so quickly. It's crazy.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that experience when Comcast won the Technology and Engineering Emmy Award. I know you and your team were in LA, I believe, pretty proudly, right, to accept that award.
We actually went to even better. We went to Vegas to pick it up, which is fantastic. What an experience! What an honor! Every year, the Emmys are awarded for outstanding technical achievements in support of delivering entertainment and broadcast TV, etc. And we were extraordinarily honored last year to receive this for the work that we've done on the VCMTS and transforming our, how we deliver our connectivity services. Just to put that in perspective, only 6 Emmy Awards were handed out last year. And one of the other awards went to the person who designed the lens for the digital camera. So it was great to walk over there and congratulate him for having an equal impact on the world as our VCMTS. That's great. Good for him. I'm just joking, of course. It was an incredible honor.
What a fantastic, I'm sure, event and time you guys had. But what an achievement. And then how about the honor of being recognized for that achievement, for Comcasters everywhere.
Totally.
That's awesome.
And it was an honor because while I had the distinct honor of standing on stage, there are thousands of people behind me, right, that have been with us through the better and the worse of trying, get this transformation to market. We've had some very dark beginnings. This was not plug and play. Certainly wasn't something that we could pick up the phone and call someone and say, hey, how would you go about resolving this, etc. Because it was never done before. And because level of complexity that we've taken on, I can tell you, there's a long line of all sorts of industry pundits who we're convinced that this thing will never work, that you can never run a CMTS on general compute, that you can never get a company that has previously only done an edge QAM, all of a sudden would actually write software for CMTS, and that we're going to be able to drive the real-time streaming telemetry, no CLI, no SMMP, and really transform how we do business today. And we take that for granted, and being able to have real-time visibility into the customer today, but candidly, that's something that did not exist 6 years ago. So it's pretty exciting, and it was again a great honor to be a part of the team that really rallied across Comcast here at TPX, at the divisions and in the regions in order to really make that happen. It's incredible.
So to those things that you just discussed, Elad, because they're all amazing, what are you most excited about next when you think about the future of our industry?
There's so many things to get excited about, and you guys mentioned SCTE next week. I can't wait to be there next week also. And one of the things that we're doing is we're actually taking all the CEOs and all the CTOs of all the cable companies and cable labs and SCTE dignitaries, etc., a lot of government affairs people, to the D9 hub in Atlanta, which is one of our primary sites in Atlanta. And what we're doing is we're showing them, what does a network transformation mean? What is it like to walk into one of our primaries and see the impact of the P-PODs, for example, right? Retiring all of the analog combiners, transitioning to digital optics, having the densification of that edge compute, and then starting to talk about what comes next on that. We're leading the industry in terms of DOCSIS 4.0. It's hard to believe, but this year we already constructed 1 million homes that have DOCSIS 4.0 available to them right now. It's incredible. Just take that in context. We only made the first modem available 12 months ago. And here we are, 1 million homes. We are going to showcase all of the fiber transformation technology that we have. There's so many people out there today talking about, we do fiber this and we do fiber that. And the reality is that we do fiber better than anyone else. When you look at the tooling that we have, and how more and more of our network is leveraging the real-time streaming telemetry and driving action out of it. How do we pinpoint an issue on the network and be able to dispatch the technician to the exact location where the impairment is, armed with that information right in his, on his handheld device? How do we take the next generation of amplifiers, which we will start to deploy? In fact, we just did the first installation this week right here in Philadelphia that has the real-time streaming telemetry right inside the amplifier. So think about that. This is, being able to detect RF impairments down to the individual leg. It's mind-blowing.
Rick, that's really gotta set something off with you. With what Elad's saying, what does that make you think about, as a network maintenance manager?
Right. Just the ability, and we talked about the fiber piece too, right? Here's where you need to go. We don't have to start at point A, TDR. It's simplifying the process. There's still work that we got to do, right? But it's giving us that starting point. It's taking out any guesswork. Go get it, So it's fascinating. Exactly right. Super excited about it. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So all of these are so many reasons why we're so excited with what we're doing. We're so excited with what's to come. I haven't even talked about what we're doing on the core network yet, which is also very, very exciting. So I think even greater things ahead. And you know what? We got one NE. I bet you there's another one coming.
Nice.
Let's hope there is, right? That's awesome. Elad, you brought up Expo. I know you've got several speaking engagements there. Mm-hmm. So hopefully everybody's looking at their schedules, and get to catch you while you're sharing some of this knowledge that you have. I have a question for you about Expo. So I'm sure you've been to many, many expos. This isn't your first one. So what is, if any, do you have a specific, I don't want to say routine, but is there somewhere you stop every time you go to Expo? Is there a booth? Is there a friend or a vendor that you get on the floor and you're like, oh, I got to go see so-and-so? Who is it? Where's the big stop?
It's hard for me to pick one because it's so great to be able to walk around and see the great innovation across this industry. The two strategic vendors for us are obviously CommScope and Harmonic, and I always make a point, to go there. This year, definitely going to stop there. What I'm excited about is some of the next items that we're working on with some of the you would not expect vendors, okay? And so, for example, we're working on a concept that we call a switch and a ball. So think about a Sienna switch that you would normally need to be in one of our facilities, etc. And we're now able to literally put it in a CommScope OM6000 casing. And so when you think about rural broadband, and if you think about how we extend our network, these new noded closures will be fed with 100 gig coherent optics and be able to put wherever we need to put them in order to build rural broadband. And so come check that out. That's pretty cool. We're doing a lot in terms of how do we extend our network easier and take advantage of the BEAD and the rural broadband initiatives. And there's several of those vendors that I'm looking forward to a visit. So it's going to be a great show. I look forward to it.
That's great. What advice would you give someone that's looking to get into our industry, or even the SCTE too? Either or, both.
Yeah, I tell you, so my home node got cut over to Genesis about a couple months ago, okay? And I wanted to go on a truck roll to see the cutover, and so I did. I partnered up with my great friends in the Northeast Division, and I went on. And the tech who did went down the amplifier line leading down to my home. She was a contractor, young. She's been doing it for 3 years. I was literally standing under the bucket truck clapping. I have never seen a more capable splicer in my career. She and I asked her, how many amps do you typically do in a day splicing in? And she said 16.
Wow.
You need to pause and think about that for a second, okay? And I said, okay, what's your high score? She said 24.
That's
if we could train young up-and-comer technicians to be able to be this effective and this good, and be able to to put them to work, my heart's full. I mean, really, I've never seen anyone better, and it's so great to see young, diverse talent being able to execute at that level. So, pretty exciting.
That is amazing. Those numbers are from the network world, the line tech world. I'm thoroughly impressed.
Rick, are you coming close? You coming close to those numbers?
Maybe in my prime, I could get close, but I don't know that I could do it with Elad standing under my bucket.
Rick, honestly, saw her set up the AGCs and everything. I mean, this is hard. This is not easy stuff. Okay, it was magic. It really was. So again, it was inspiring for me to to be able to see someone so young operating at this level. I think that's absolutely fantastic.
No, that definitely is. I mean, I am blown away. I would have been down there cheering with you. I mean, that is truly an impressive feat, and wow, fantastic. I'm gonna hit you with an SCT chapter question, right? We know you're a big advocate of SCTE, and that obviously a big advocate of training up, and especially in that, how do we teach the younger generations to be efficient and things? But what I'd like to know, and I'm sure some of our listeners, over the years, what kind of chapter involvement have you had, maybe at the local level? I know you do some stuff with national. What kind of involvement, and then how do you look at that involvement and kind of gauge the reward from that, from your perspective?
I mean, gosh, Rick, I had so many. It'll be we'll run out of time before I get done talking about this. But I'll tell you this. Over the years, I've learned to appreciate mentorship, and that's both on the receiving and giving. I can't tell you how important I believe this is for the success of your career. And I can assure you that, we're all busy. We all have a lot of things going on. It's always challenging to cut up the time and find the time, but I will tell you this. You will feel so much better about yourself and what you do if you're able to pass on, the wisdom, to pass on the experience, to train and upskill and bring your peers, with you. So highly recommend that you take the time, join one of the many work tracks that the chapters offer in terms of mentorship, and pass on the wisdom. Now, in terms of training, the thing that I found most useful, candidly, is to be able to listen and learn from a hands-on experience. And so, when we were working on the designing of the, how do we activate DAA nodes? Okay. When we were working on the designing of the whole tech experience and tools and all those things, I always find it so inspiring to be able to go out to one of the chapter meetings and get some feedback, learn, bounce ideas around, get some, hey, I'm not going to be the one who sits in a bucket truck in, Minneapolis in January and try and makes this work with gloves on my hands. So, what do you do? And so, I think that SCTE in general and the chapters in general are doing such great work at really enabling that it's absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
Great answer. What is one thing you would go back? This is kind of a pivot now. What is one thing you would go back and tell your younger self, Elad?
It's such a great question. The thing that I find most inspiring about this industry as a whole, and why I'm so excited to be a part of this industry and this company, is I've been here almost 20 years, and we are a completely different company, and not just once but probably 3 times over, right? This was I remember the early days when we just got AT&T, and we were trying to stitch those companies together to this incredible organization that we have now that's truly industry leading across the board, across our technicians, across our technology, across our innovation, across our maniacal focus on the customer. Just think about how much we've over from the days of analog TV and 3 megabits per second modems to talking about DOCSIS 4.0 FPX with multiple symmetrical gigabit services and launching that on a national basis. I mean, how cool is that? And so the only thing I would tell you from an advice standpoint is never stop learning. Always challenge yourself to
I love it.
To really open-mindedly gain new skills and gain new experiences, and really be ready to question what you do, how you do it, what can you learn in order to improve constantly, because everything is happening so fast now. Technology is changing so fast, and skill sets are, demands are changing so fast, and you don't want to look behind and say, how did I miss this? How did I not see this coming? Why don't I not understand how to operate this, that, and the other? And again, we all have lives and we all have, so many things going on. Make the time, please. It is absolutely important.
Great advice for anyone, right? In any industry or business. So definitely appreciate that. How are we doing on time from your end, Elad? I know you're a busy guy.
Yeah, no, keep going.
We got a couple minutes.
7-8 minutes.
I don't want to hold you up or anybody that's waiting on you, but your energy is contagious. Your excitement, just thinking about how passionate you are.
I tell you, we talked earlier about the core network and how, we're now going into the core. And I'll share with you, I take it very personally when we have outages, okay? I don't like losing. And, when our customers are down, it pains me on a personal level, okay? And when you look at, at the end of the day, at the tools that we're giving our teams, and when we look at, the demands of what does it mean to be always up? My motto when I walked into, the CNO position was 0 sev 1s. I don't ever want to have a severity 1 outage on the network. Now, unfortunately, it's aspirational right now, okay? But really, when you take a step back and you ask yourself, it's an enormous network. It's got over 1 million miles of fiber and coax. We have 1,400 different facilities. how do you start to pick this apart, right? I mean, how do you build something that is able to mitigate around that, okay? And so, one of the first things that I'm extraordinarily passionate about is, I don't want to do anything manually. If you could do something manually once, then you should automate it the second time. And that is a big drive, for me with my team, on how everything that we need to do needs to be with the intentionality of, can't depend on people not fat fingering or people not, doing manual errors, because it's bound to happen. And when you look at some of the major national outages that, for example, AT&T has had this year, okay, both of them, and they were a major national outage, were caused by fat fingering of IP address allocations. Okay, that cannot happen to us. And so how do we build a core network that, is capable of doing that? Another thing that, I'm very passionate about is, in many cases, the problem is not lack of alarms. In fact, in many cases, we're choking on alarms, okay? But then how do you filter out what the real cause is and what's noise? And mute the noise, get to, what we call LCA, lowest common ancestor. And so a lot of the work that we're doing right now is being able to drive to exactly that. And so if we have we used the example of the fiber cut earlier, it's not enough to know, hey, the fiber cut is 8,000 feet away from, hub site, whatever. What you really want to get to, and we now have the AI capability to do it, is it a dirty SFP? Is it, go to the head end, clean up that plug and put it back in there? It's technology and automation that looks at, hey, we don't want to lose any hub site, okay? But extreme weather is happening, and it's happening all around us, and it's, certainly has impacted us, from a facility standpoint. Okay, how do we manage the network around it? How do we build a software-defined network that enables us to bypass those type of things? And so you're going to see a lot of that coming to the core network, really borrowing from, all of the great things that we've done on the access side. And now we're going to bring it into the core so that truly we're going to build a network that will always be up, always, because that's what our customers depend on.
It's so inspiring. So Elad, I know that you're into 80s music, right? Can you name me your favorite 80s album or favorite 80s artist?
Oh my gosh, you're going to make fun of me. So I was on the dark alternative side of the 80s, okay? And it's funny because, a lot of those guys are touring now. And I actually went to see a show. I love live music, absolutely love it. And so this week I went to see a band called the Sisters of Mercy, which is on the very dark goth side of the 80s. And just like that, I was 40 years younger, and I got to see a band that I candidly never thought I would ever see live. They probably weren't my favorite. I'm kind of all over the place, but they were great. Now we need to convince the Smiths to reunite, and that would be an Oasis-like ticket I'd be lovingly buying.
There you go. Rick, you know what time it is right now, and I know we have to let Elad go here shortly. So I think we're going to get into joke time. You got any jokes, Rick?
Oh, I bring the same one every time, and shame on me because the one I bring is no joke at all. So I, again, like most podcasts, Eric, I'm going to lean heavily on you. We'll see if Elad has one, but I'll open it up to you guys. I failed at my homework and I didn't bring one today.
Elad, you can go first or I can. It doesn't matter either way.
I got a joke for you. Fix wireless. Sorry. I look at that and what we have, what we're building, where our future of connectivity is. I feel bad for these guys. I really do. We're coming after them.
Wow. So, I've got a joke that kind of fits right into the it's more Wi-Fi. It's not fixed wireless, but a man needs Wi-Fi at a local pub, right? And he goes in, he's got poor cell signal. He asks for the Wi-Fi password. The bartender says you need to buy a drink first. Man says fine and orders a Coke, which costs him $3. And he asks again, what's the Wi-Fi password? The bartender says you need to buy a drink first. All lowercase, no spaces.
Got him. I love the password, right? Like, that's great stuff there.
My dogs are ready to go here.
They must have appreciated the joke too. Elad, we can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day. We know you're a busy guy. Your energy's inspiring. Your thought process is great. Hopefully all the listeners will enjoy this as much as we did. For everybody that's going to Expo, check them out. Say hi when you can.
To see you guys there.
Yeah, yes, definitely. And we'd love to maybe down the road bring you back on, find some time.
I would very much love that. Happy
I
to do
can
it.
do this for days. So I'll
Thank
say
you so
that.
much.
Thank you, and have a great afternoon. And we'll talk soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye now.
Sorry, guys, about the dogs.
Oh, no worries. No worries.
That's cool. Yeah.
Elad, thank you so much, man.
It's my pleasure. Seriously, I'd love to come back for more time, and maybe we'll talk about the show and what we saw and everything. Love to do it anytime, man.
Awesome. Okay. Fantastic.
All right,
see you
next week.
And we'll see you next week.
I'll see you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Sounds good. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.